What is going on, everybody? It is I, Photo Dave, talking here on the lovely Toypixx channel. And tonight's topic for everybody that's watching right now, for all the people that are going to catch the replay, the old replay crew, if you will, tonight's topic is: what lines do you think are the best for toy photography? Which ones produce the most photogenic figures? And answer this, tell me why, because I have my own criteria and I have my own picks. So I'm just curious, what is it about any lines that you collect that you think to yourself, man, oh man, this line is perfect for action figure photography? Because that's what I need to know. I need to know it for you. I know it for me, kind of. I'm going to be doing a little bit of chatting tonight to see what you guys think. I'm going to mess with some of what I've got laid out on the desk here and try and answer it for myself. Because right now, for me, in contention are two lines. And it might be that they both win out because I think they can both go really well together. So that's where I'm at. We have Wreckship popping in. What's up, sir? Ahoy yourself. Arr. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I felt it necessary to go all pirate there. You know, except I was thinking shipwreck, Wreckship, because clearly shipwreck's a pirate. That makes zero sense. So I'm going to start right off. Let's catch this real quick. Let's see. I got Jinx, Nagahide, and Torch all in the past week. All great figures. Man, that is awesome. Torch was the only Dreadnought I had as a kid. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I was thinking of the original three. Nagahide is a Dreadnought as well, and I did have him also. Now, Jinx, of all three of those, she's the one I'm most excited about, though I've seen reviews that make it look like maybe the waist doesn't work quite as well as I'd like it to, but that's kind of the same with Scarlet, so maybe it's to be expected. We shall see. But yeah, man, congratulations, because if that Torch came with a little more, I mean, Nagahide comes with tons. That stinking monkey with the eye patch still makes me think maybe Nagahide's something I should go for. But if Torch had a little more, I'd go nuts for him, because I love the way that they actually did the blowtorch on him and all kinds of other stuff. I think that Torch looks great. Oh, boy. Pushing buttons? It's what I do. I push buttons just so gosh darn well. See, I'll make a post with them in the next couple of days. Score. Yeah, definitely going to want to see that. Definitely going to want to see Jinx. Gotta see Jinx. Gotta know what's going on with her. I like her because she doesn't have the all 80s all the time look. That's what has me most stoked about her. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to kind of an honorable mention. I've got 6 kinds of figures here right now. Well, you know what? We're not going to the honorable mention. Let's go to something that is in our future before we go to anything else. Because this is a line that I think a lot of us are stoked about. I know I am. But I need to see it. I need to handle one of these things to see what I really think. And they still haven't popped up as far as regular release, retail. You know, they're only going to be at Big Bad Toy Store, but still, that probably is enough of a hint. I say present. Here we go. The first line that I'm going to talk about, this isn't an honorable mention. This thing's coming eventually, is Monster Force, because they come with so many things. And obviously, you know my stance on a whole ton of hands. If they have a lot of hands, that means a whole lot more expression. Basically, when it comes to figure photography, when a figure comes with just a ton of stuff means a ton more photo options. So that's why I really like it when a figure comes with a ton of stuff. And hands specifically, there are very few things you can do besides use your hands, as I'm using my hands, to really be expressive. And you can do tons of expressive stuff when a figure comes with tons of hands. This guy also has an alternate head, obviously, but because of the way they do a lot of these things, the Black Watch here, it's kind of a, I can't remember the story. I did read it. It might be like sort of a zombie or like an alien or something that pops up, and it's something, it's kind of benevolent. These are basically, you can leave it like this and it's a Secret Service guy, or you can pop on the other head and it's whatever else, and you've got hands for both versions. It's just really cool. And something else I'm curious about when it comes to the Black Watch specifically is when you pop off the head, can you replace it with figures' heads from other lines? I'm looking over at MAFEX, for instance. What all can be used on these? So there's a whole lot that I want to get answered when it comes to this line. And before I go back to the chat, check these out as well. This is an optional pack that you can get for the Black Watch. So he can be all kinds of hair colors, all kinds of skin colors, all kinds of expression. I mean, well, maybe not all kinds of expression, except for kind of those alien heads, because the other heads, like the human heads, are kind of just, I'm Secret Service, don't mess with me. But yes, I think that what they're doing here is really cool and has the potential to be just ridiculously awesome. Let's see here. Ooh, we got people talking. I know them. Let's see. Oh, Monster Force would have my number if not for classifieds. I know. It's all so tough. And so many of these lines now are coming out with so many extra parts that it's going to be difficult to decide. Hello, Ghost Tab. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, Monster Force is a tough one for me, too. Let's see. Their Forgotten King exclusive figure feels great in hand. Oh, Rexship. Did you actually get it, or were you able to just mess with it at Joe Fest? Because that'd be sweet. I saw, what was it? I think a Punk with Toys had one, and he did the review, but it's always hard to tell when they're just these clear figures, or I guess translucent. So we go from there. Yes, the clip does go in the gun. So I wanted to look at that. All the clips go in all the guns lately. Like, they're just, all these companies are doing such great work. And this thing, the Delta Red Nocturnal, look at that. Like, basically what Monster Force did, I think, is they went all Action Force into some monsters and other kinds of creature stuff. That's just, oh, it's so good. Like, this is just one of those lines that I can see being a real contender when it comes to figure photography. Like, I could see my collection having a lot of Monster Force figures in it. And I'm not even like a monster kind of guy. But you don't have to use the monster heads. You can pop on the head there with the red eyes, and he could be just some kind of regular soldier. But on the other hand, the monster heads look so good too. And then this one, I need it. I grew up in kind of California and Nevada. And to say I grew up, I moved to Michigan when I was 9. But before I turned 9, we had all learned about the Donner Party. And so just the fact that this guy is called the Donner Party makes him a necessity for me to pick up. And I don't know about the rest of the world. I don't know about the rest of the US. But like, I'm not sure how early everybody learned about that. But yeah, we learned about cannibalism at a young age. So it's good times. And then Dr. Caligari, like, I just picked up a sampling of the ones that I saw, just kind of thinking they look freaky and awesome. Like, this guy is basically just a mad scientist with a brain in a jar for a head. This stuff's just fun, too. And then, of course, you got to bust out Dracula, which is kind of, I believe the story, the way that they're building it right now, is Dracula is kind of on the side of the good guys because even he doesn't like the Forgotten King. Kind of a whole, the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation. And he comes with all kinds of stuff. And honestly, I would probably like to get the Jada Draculas as well, but those are more your classic Universal Monsters Draculas. This could be the Dracula in my collection, and I'd be perfectly happy with that. Now, the Forgotten King, you know what it is about this? Like, he looks cool, and there's no doubt this thing looks awesome. I love that effect. If you hit that effect with light, and it's just totally clear, like translucent piece of blue plastic. If you hit that thing with the light just right, it's going to be incredible. And check that out. You throw in his hands, make those parts, like put those in there. Plus, he's holding that little effect. And suddenly there's all kinds of crazy lit up translucency you could get with this thing. Like General Brown here. And as soon as I'm done talking about General Brown, I'll pop in and go see what's going on with the chat. But all kinds of heads there. He looks like he's got a G.I. Joe head, almost a James Bond style head, a Thunderbolt Ross style head, plus the head that comes on him, all kinds of glasses, all kinds of hands. He's got the old kind of, what is that? That's the name that you can put over the pocket. And then he's got his hat. Like, there's so much stuff here. There's so much playability with this figure that he's another one that I wonder, can you pop someone else's head onto this thing? Like a head from another line. Whoop. Oh, I say push the buttons. Herman Gallegos, thank you for showing up, man. Gridiron Studios is doing some of the weapons to Monster Force. Really excited to get these in hand whenever they decide to release them. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. It looks like it's not going to be too much longer. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing on the BBTS website does say August. So hopefully they won't be any later than that. And I knew that Gridiron was doing a lot of this stuff. I had some of their sets way back when I had more G.I. Joe figures. They are great sets. I got them when they were just doing the 3D printing, so they were kind of brittle. My assumption is now that they're doing it with Monster Force, they'll be more regular plastic and it won't be so bad. But we shall see. And I don't know. I haven't gotten anything from Gridiron in a while. Maybe they're now doing them so they are just regular plastic. Like when it comes to their own stuff. Wreck Ship. I do have Dr. Caligari on pre-order. Nice. See, you're already hosing yourself, man. You know that we're all collectors and that once we buy one, I mean, I have no sympathy for you. He's going to show up. You're going to love it and be like, crap, now I have to dive in. Cannibal the Musical. I like it, Harry. I like it. Maybe that's next. Maybe we need an Anthony Hopkins figure. Put him in here. Get an Anthony Hopkins license for Monster Force. Tell me that wouldn't be awesome. General Brown will be a popular one just because he's generic general in dress uniform. Will fit in very well for classified. This is true. This is very true. You can pop anybody's head on that thing, and there's a hawk out there already. So that's, again, kind of what I'm wondering. Will the heads be able to fit other figures from other lines? Will they at the very least have a small ball peg at the top of the head so that pretty much anybody can use them? Because if you have a huge ball peg, you're going to eliminate other lines from being able to use those heads. But this is it's just one of those lines that I think is going to, I can't even say it's going to take people by surprise. I think we're expecting these to come out awesome and to be able to just get great photos with them. And the Phantom Core, I really like just this basic soldier look. I don't know what it is. I just digs it. Now, the one thing, I think he should have a helmet over just a beret. However, that's where this pack comes in. So you can get this pack to go with your Phantom Core, much like how, I've got Eclipse off to my side for talking about Action Force a little bit later. And there was an Eclipse gear pack. So it's kind of the same thing. I like what I'm seeing here. This Sleepwalker, I just grabbed this because I think he's really cool. I like the neon green going on with it. I like the werewolf head even. Like these freak me out. And I think that's half the fun with them. They're just totally their own thing. And I think that's really what I dig about them. I'm getting to the point, and I'll talk about that a little bit with some of the other stuff I want to talk about, where English, Dave, English, think about it a little harder. But when it comes to the all 80s, when it comes to nostalgia, I'm kind of getting over. I mean, I know I've been saying for a while, I'm not an all 80s all the time kind of guy. I'm becoming less of an all 80s all the time kind of guy. Like, I had on my list of figures to get for classified, I had Big Boa, I had Glenda, I had Night Creeper, I had Jinx. I don't necessarily think I need Big Boa or Night Creeper. Like, I'm looking at those and I'm going, I had those when I was a kid. Why would I get them again? So I don't know, but that's why I really want Jinx, and that's why I might get Glenda on the aftermarket too, is because I didn't have her, and Jinx is an entirely new look. So there's a little bit of that going on with tonight's conversation as well. And then we've got this one, who is the Crimson Moon. Let's see, Sleepwalker Crimson Moon. I love how kind of, it's almost a steampunk look that this thing's got going on. And again, just really good stuff. I don't know how many times I can say cool before YouTube just decides to kick me off. So I'm going to go with good. I really like red. So I think this red uniform is awesome as well. There's just so much good stuff here. So yeah, Monster Force is one that is coming up that I think is going to take a lot of us. Well, it's going to make a lot of our collections, and I think it's going to be great when it comes to figure photography. Plus, the figures are so modular. You can do so much with them. This is another one where you can take off this weird head, pop on this head, and it looks like it's just a regular old soldier in red. So, yeah, man, Monster Force is good stuff. Now, with that out of the way, as far as just talking about something that's upcoming that I think we're going to need when it comes to figure photography, I wanted to talk about two lines that I'm kind of moving. I don't want to say totally moving away from, but so much stuff is coming out that's really pushing the envelope forward when it comes to what constitutes figures that I think work for figure photography, that I'm kind of getting pulled away a little bit. Now, one of those lines is classified. Now, this Scarlet would be an exception because this is a perfect Scarlet. So don't worry, she would still be a character that I would go out and get. But all Scarlet has is one extra set of hands. And for a while, that was plenty. Because, hey, man, G.I. Joe at $25, one extra set of hands. Still, one extra set of hands at $25, it's pretty good compared to what else we get out there. So I can't be mad about it, but do I spend $25 on a figure with one pair of extra hands, or do I go a little higher and go with something like Action Force, $5 more to get a bunch more extra hands to give me a lot more options for action figure photography? I don't know, but I know that Action Force and Monster Force and other lines are doing so much more for the money that I'm starting to kind of feel like, maybe I don't need classified quite as much. And I love G.I. Joe. And to be honest, if G.I. Joe were to go a little more modern, if they started going a little bit more Pursuit of Cobra style, then I might be a lot more inclined. Pursuit of Cobra, extra hands, or if Hasbro just said, you know what, we have to make a hand pack for these things, then I'd start being a lot more stoked about them. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, honestly, I love the figures. I just don't want them to be all 80s all the time anymore. And I know that's probably a minority opinion. Otherwise, they wouldn't be making them that way. But I need more hands. And that's really where I'm stuck there. Now, another line that I'm not necessarily getting pulled away from, there's just not enough for me to really judge it yet, is the Last Ronin TMNT line. This is the first line that I think really feels like action figures that I've gotten from NECA. Now, I say that, all I've really gotten from NECA are, let's see, the Universal Monsters Turtles and the Mirage Turtles. And the Mirage Turtles, I love the Mirage comics, but there's something special about the Last Ronin figures. So once this line expands, and I did see earlier today, there is some expansion going on with the Last Ronin. It might, I don't know, because my heart really goes with Mirage, but my head and my camera are starting to follow the Last Ronin figures. So we'll see. And they come with tons of stuff. This Raphael came with a whole lot of hands. Let's see if we can see anything there. Whole lot of hands, extra head, arrow. He's got his size. He feels like an action figure. So when it comes to NECA, right now, the Last Ronin might be taking it. We shall see. But those were kind of, the one is on its way. The other two have been out for a while. Now I want to go into an honorable mention line. And as I'm talking about this stuff, you guys throw out what you're thinking of when it comes to photogenic figures for your collections and maybe what your criteria are. Because you might say something that I haven't thought of, and then I'd have to just totally rethink my entire collecting strategy. And yes, there's definitely a strategy when you have this much good stuff out there right now. So here we go. One more that kind of gets an honorable mention. I got to go find the window. Open, open, open. Who remembers Mervin's? I shouldn't do that anymore. All right. This is a fairly new line. It's not like the newest, but it's fairly new. Now I must push buttons. I love when I narrate me pushing buttons. How many people just stop listening at that point? All right. It should be popping up any minute, in theory. Please pop up. Okay. We've got the Jada Street Fighter line. Now, obviously, I've gotten a few of these. I'm a fan. Now, I'm giving them an honorable mention because right now they, like G.I. Joe, are coming out with like some of their, well, all, the one thing I have to say about Jada, all of their figures are coming with extra hands and an extra head. So that's a win as far as photos go, to me anyway, as far as I'm concerned. So I give them that. But one thing they're not doing is coming with more hands. But the reason they get the honorable mention, and I just pulled out a few of these so you could see what's going on. If you haven't picked up any of these yet, I do suggest you get them. They're really good, especially that Dalsim. I got to get him. Although I saw Anthony's Customs today. He had a review on him, and he said the butterfly joints run into the chest and actually stress the chest. So you don't get the full range out of the butterfly joints without actually kind of beating up on your figure. So we'll see if I go for him, or maybe there will be a second run of Dalsim later on. Fei Long, everybody tends to think he's pretty awesome, and I'm one of those everybody. M. Bison, like there's plenty I still need to get. And I love these figures, but you can see here, extra hands, extra head. One thing that they're doing that I like, and I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with it, is you can see here she's got that extra head kind of just smiling that she didn't come with when it came to the first Chun-Li. Now, this is an SDCC exclusive Chun-Li, and she will also have that smiling head for the blue Chun-Li, if you can see that on the side there. That smiling head for this, so there'll be, these will be a little whiter, I suppose, the little things in her hair will go a little whiter so that it'll look right. Plus she has more of those hands, like, oh, and she's got this effect. Oh, where is it? Like that peace hand almost, right? So, I mean, she's got the extra hands. So it's kind of like buying a gear pack for, say, the Action Force figures. If you get all the Chun-Lis, you're going to get all the parts. And it's kind of, I don't like it on its face, but I do really like the figures. So whereas most companies, I'd sit there and just say, oh, that's just scummy. Here, it is scummy. There's no doubt it's scummy. but I really like the figures, so it doesn't bother me quite as much. So that's where I'm at with the Street Fighter figures. That's why I kind of give them an honorable mention rather than a full on, as the line needs to go a little longer for me to see what they're actually going to end up doing with it when it comes to all that stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at as far as Street Fighter is concerned. Close. And now, there I am. Now I'm going to break into, we're just going to kind of go with the rest of them in alphabetical order, because I don't really have a decision here, although this one that I'm about to pop up is really getting high up there when it comes to the photogenic thing. In fact, I'm sitting here still wondering, why do I not have more of these? Toy Odyssey, what's up, gents? Not much, sir. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. What's going on with you? Besides watching the live stream, of course. But thank you. Thanks again for stopping by. All right, what have I done here? Okay. Now here is this line. Now, many of you know, let's see, come on, show up. Now I'm kind of just watching the monitor to make sure that it shows up for you guys. There we go. So many of you have picked up some Action Force figures. You're big fans. I'm a big fan. Let's see. Now, remember that tonight we're talking about what figure lines are best for figure photography. And Action Force, I gotta think it's big time up there. And I'll show you, like I said, I've got Eclipse to my left here. I'll show you what's going on with that. When it comes to, for instance, Action Force has gotten into the female figures. Look at tons of hands, tons of posability with these things. So it makes me happy. Like that's what's necessary when it comes to these figures. But I kind of can sound like a broken record after a bit with that. They also get gear packs. So for instance, this gear pack goes with this Arctic Trooper. And then you put that dude together and you get this gear pack, or you get this look. You grab that guy, throw in his hands, you grab the gear pack here, and you put it all together and you get this. And there's just all the modularity, all the different looks here. You've got the Caucasian and the African-American heads. You've got the head with the goggles. It's just good stuff. I'm a fan of like coming out with the gear packs to make them just a little more premium, I suppose. Having just the regular soldiers, I think that's great. You can load up on whatever. And then, of course, we've got Blowback. This is making a ghillie suit and giving this figure all kinds of camo all over it. And again, there are so many options. Look at just the head options on Blowback here. All kinds going on. So I just, there's something about what Bobby Valla is doing with this line that I look at it and I think to myself, man, if I had a figure line, I hope this is how I would be running it. There's just something really good about how he's pushing things forward, the stuff you're getting, the value that's included. I don't know. I feel like he's doing a really good job. And that's kind of getting Action Force way up there in my list of photogenic figures. I mean, you can pop anybody's head onto any body. You can make your own soldier. It's really crazy. Pushing the buttons. My computer hates, doing things. Let's see. Dave, it's Jericho Savage. Just change the name. Oh, in that case, never mind. I mean, it's cool that you showed up and all, but, I keyed. Thanks for stopping by, Jericho. I appreciate it, man. All right. All right, I'm going to need to start reading these off to the side. I really regret not getting Pandora's head back. Yeah, I really regret not getting Pandora way back and at least getting enough to gamble on getting the bloody variants. But I didn't like her look like I did Eclipse and Kill Switch. And even I did get the Spec Ops female trooper. I thought she was really cool. But for whatever reason, just totally skipped Pandora. Laces out. What? Why, Spaded One? Why? I'm trying to think. Let's see. Football. Merino. I got nothing. I'm trying. Usually I'm there. Herman, head and hand packs on the way for Action Force. Yeah, I know. I saw that. That's another reason. Like the hand packs, I was talking about how I would love Classified to have a lot more hands. I didn't even consider Vala making more hands because we already get so many hands. And then he showed off the hand packs. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, thank you. I didn't know I needed them. But when I saw the hands, what do you know? I need them. Yeah, I was stoked about that. I just really like, oh yeah. And then you get just weapons packs. Just because. Like I say, I love the way that Vala runs the line. I wish that if I had a toy line, I hope that I would run it similarly to how he is. Because it's constantly evolving. It's not staying where it's at. It's like, oh, people probably want more guns. Let's give them more guns. Oh, people might want more heads for their figures. Let's give them more heads. Oh, people might want a deluxe thing. People might want this. People might want that. Let's try this. So, we're getting a Praetorian. We're getting a robot figure. And I wasn't sure Vala would ever go into robots, but there's just so much. And there's another head pack that we already got. And then, of course, he's going nuts with officially licensed vehicles with huge rocket launchers you can put on the top of them. I mean, I really like the way that he's running this line. And, oh yeah, Bone Collector. Like, how good is that? That thing is awesome. Now, he is sold out. I went back to the website today, and he must have sold out between yesterday and today, but I'm sure he'll be coming back. This is just a great figure. It's just fun. Now, the only thing Vala doesn't have going for him with Action Force is we don't have the same, what is it by now, 42-year history with this brand that we do with G.I. Joe. I mean, we do with the brand, but not these specific characters he's introducing into the brand. So people have to warm up to the characters. Once people warm up to the characters, man, the way he does this, I just think it has a real shot. And then all the stuff that he comes with. I mean, Action Force guys, Colonel Siege, Action Force is what's up. I think there's something special here. And of course, I had to throw this in because blowtorch, flamethrower. I mean, yeah. What else needs to be said? And of course, yeah. I had to throw this in because Praetorian. I need this thing. Because again, it's just something different that Vala's like, oh, we should probably do this. Sidewinder I put in here because another $30 figure, but look at all the stuff he comes with. Yeah, I'm seeing Action Force and I'm seeing a line I can really take pictures of and really mess with, and it just makes me happy. It is in the running for being one of those top lines for me when it comes to what I can use to take photos of. Now, I did want to show off. Oh my goodness. Come on, computer. This poor thing. I think I have too much crazy stuff on it. So I wanted to show Eclipse here. She came with, well, she's not wearing what she came with. She came, well, I bought the gear pack for her. So she's wearing quite a bit from the gear pack. But between Eclipse, who was, I think when I got her, she was $32, and then her gear pack was either it was either 12 or 13. So we're looking at basically 45 bucks. So this figure and all this stuff, I mean, some of this is what actually came with the figure, but there's all the other accessories and all the stuff that would have come with the gear pack as well. Eclipse is loaded for bear, and she's got tons of stuff. And when you compare, say, what a MAFEX figure costs in Japan, which I've heard 50 bucks, I can't find much better than right around 55 or 60, but I've heard actually in Japan they're 50. This is cheaper in the US for this and all this than a MAFEX is in Japan. Of course, a MAFEX is considerably more expensive here, but you guys know that I love MAFEX figures, and when I'm looking at Action Force stuff, I'm like, man, it's cheaper, it's more modular. Like, what it doesn't have, again, is the familiarity with the characters. So I think Action Force is really moving up in the world when it comes to what I want to do for action figure photography. But that's just me. You guys need to let me know what it is that you're seeing. If you agree, do you disagree? What do you have going on here that you're looking at and thinking, man, oh man, wait a sec. Okay, I'm making funny faces because I'm not sure this is exactly lining up. Weird. All right, let's try this now. Lucas, hey there, pal. What's for dinner? What did I have for dinner? I don't know. Right now, tea and honey. I did have some tacos earlier today. I do enjoy tacos. How about you? What are you eating? And what we're talking about here this fine evening, what figure lines are best for action figure photography? And we've gone over right now classified. We've talked a little bit about NECA's Last Ronin line. We've chatted about Monster Force, which is yet to hit, but I think a lot of us are looking forward to it. And we just got done talking about Action Force. Oh, we talked about Street Fighter as well. And right now, for the stuff that we've talked about, I think Action Force is on ahead. I think it's taken the lead. Plus more stuff with Action Force. You can buy a bunch of soldiers, you can have massive armies, and then you can kit them out all differently. Oh man. Like you could take your Action Force figures, and you know how Batman's always a vigilante, like all these superheroes are vigilantes. So eventually the military is going to come in to try and take him down. And so now you've got Batman versus a bunch of guys in gray trying to stop him in the city. Or you've got Captain America leading a platoon. Like it's just, there's so much you can do with that line. It's nuts. It's insane. Lucas, wife made a meatball stew kind of thing. It's so good. Dude, that's awesome. That sounds good. I do enjoy meatballs. I also enjoy when the computer works. Hang on, we're getting there. Woohoo! Yeah, Action Force mixed with G.I. Joe and Marvel Legends. Nice. Yeah, Action Force and G.I. Joe I found to be kind of a natural, just a natural combo. Pushing the buttons. Tragic. Hey, Dave in chat. Hey, Tragic. You said you'd be here. You made it. Thank you for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Good to see you. What are some of your favorite figure lines for photography? And let me know, like I said earlier, guys, let me know if you agree, if you're disagreeing, if you just think I'm full of whatever you might think I'm full of. Harry, I got Foray Planet Veteran William V2, so I have a werewolf lumberjack. See, I think a werewolf lumberjack can work with anything. You've seen, what is it? Something, what was his name, from Monster Force that was actually from Foray Planet. They did a thing with like the Maestro Union or whatever, did a thing with Big Bad Workshop and Fresh Monkey Fiction and came up with basically a veteran William for Monster Force. So you just got the original. So now you can just get a bunch of Monster Force eventually and throw your veteran William in to party with them. I think it's a good time. I think it'll work out. Oh, great. Googly moogly. Tragic. I wasn't sure if you had a chance to see La Muerta. She looks awesome for Toypixx. She looks really good. And I've heard the paint is really good. The thing with her for me is I don't think she has any kind of waist swivel. Now, that's not as bad as having like a waist cut. That would drive me crazy because I'd be constantly wanting to use it. But the one thing about not having a waist swivel, for me only, so don't worry, no judgment here, but when they don't have like a waist something, like a ball peg waist more specifically, then it's hard. You can't line up their diaphragm with basically the midline of their stomach. So that's why I haven't gotten into the loose collector stuff as of yet, though I know the werewolf changes that. And it sounds like future female figures are going to have waists, like ball peg waists as well. So I'm really excited about what's going on with loose collector. That's the problem. I feel like I'm going to have to pick a line in the sand and just say, or draw a line in the sand, or, you know, pick several lines, whatever, but draw a line in the sand and say, all right, these are the lines I'm collecting, and I can't go outside of that because there's just so much good stuff. And I kind of don't want to do that, but I kind of also do want to do that. So we shall see. WWE figure too. Ooh, those WWE figures. I've always thought they looked cool for, because I don't know anything about the WWE, but I've always thought they would be perfect as like if Batman's trying to get in, like if you're talking, say, the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, where he walks into the club and he's got the bouncer guy. I've always thought the WWE guys would be perfect bouncers. I think that would be hilarious. Let's see. Tragic. Ninja has a review of her and a few others. I am for sure picking her up. I saw that Displaying Model Behavior got her, but I haven't seen any review from him yet. And I did see that Ninja put up a review. I just haven't checked it out yet. But yeah, I mean, she looks really good. Truly, I thought that Loose Collector stuff looks phenomenal since the beginning. The one thing that has put me off taking any of them for a test drive is the lack of the waist. And then he fired off that wolf. And that wolf might change my mind, honestly. So I'm getting trash talked on the phone, by the way, guys. So you guys know that Mom will watch the live stream. And I just sat here and said, I need to draw a line in the sand and say, I'm going to stick with this figure line or these figure lines and not go beyond them. She sent me a text that said, not going to happen. That's nice. That's Mom encouraging me basically to spend more money. I mean, that's what I heard. So anyway, let's get out of here now. Why do I keep popping up the wrong thing? Oh my goodness. All right, I know what's going on. So that was Action Force. Now we're going to get into a line that I have yet to test drive. And I think I'm going to test drive this thing very soon. And let me know if any of you guys have these. I know that LBZ does. La da 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 da, pushing the buttons. I will now narrate as I go through my computer stuff. We'll see if this ever pops up. I did push the button. Everything's already been pushed for this to happen. So now we're just going to sit here and filibust. You guys having fun yet? All right. It's up on my end. Hey, you guys got it. Okay. So we now have Amazing Yamaguchi. And again, I just pulled up some that I thought looked awesome. I have No feeling whatsoever when it comes to Agent Venom. I barely know who the character is, but I do know this figure looks insanely cool. So let me know, do any of you have them? What do you think? And I'll show you why. First off, I love articulation, obviously. Amazing Yamaguchi, articulated to the nines for sure. I mean, I love this look too. But look at all the stuff that this Monster Venom comes with. That is insane. And he's got, I know he doesn't have extra heads, but he's obviously got those extra eyes that you can see kind of in the upper third of the pic on the left-hand side. So they're right next to the yellow blast effects. You can just replace the eyes that are in there with those eyes, and it's so good. I mean, it's really difficult for me to not have any of these. So like I say, I think I'm going to be taking one of these for a test drive relatively soon. My only problem is the ones that don't have a mask have anime style faces. So would it belong in my collection? Or let's say I were to get the Batman that's coming out. Could I pop a MAFEX head onto that Batman head? That Batman body? I don't know. If that could happen, now suddenly I've just got an armored MAFEX Batman that would look pretty cool. Speaking of, here he is. I think he looks cool. So what I'm trying to figure out here is with this Batman, could I pop off that head and put on, say, my black Batman Hush head onto there? Obviously, it would have a totally different shine, a different look, but it wouldn't be so anime. So if any of you do have Amazing Yamaguchi, let me know if you tried to swap out a MAFEX head onto him. I believe LBZ told me at one point he did, and it didn't work. Like he tried, but it didn't work, but I'm not sure. But I love the way they do the capes. Like, look at that. That's probably the best Batman cape I've seen. And obviously he comes with all kinds of stuff. So this is just kind of going through, talking about why I think a lot of these figures or a lot of these lines are really good for photography. And again, let me know, what are you thinking when it comes to these? Are you thinking this is the way? Or are you thinking, no, Amazing Yamaguchi, not it? For perhaps the reasons I stated. Maybe you don't like the whole anime look when it comes to the faces without masks. Now this Deadpool, no mask. Or I'm sorry, no face. But he's got the goofiness that Deadpool has and a ton of accessories. Imagine the photo options with this guy. Like again, this is all about toy photography. How many different pics could you take with this? One, you could set them up one way and shoot it a bunch of different angles. So you'd have just a ton of pics that way. And then you could just set them up a different way and shoot a bunch of different angles. I mean, you could just sit there. You can do a photo shoot with this Deadpool for days. And that is so cool to me. I don't know anything about this character, Mezco, but she looks a little more, I think she has a look that makes it look like Amazing Yamaguchi's really trying to streamline the product. So the joints aren't quite as noticeable. You've still got them in the shoulders a little bit, but check out that kick. And obviously plenty of hands for her, face plates, that hair that's crazy. Again, another figure that you could just spend forever just shooting. And again, a figure I know nothing about. Character. Ah, come on, buttons. Here we go. Tragic. That wolf does look awesome. I will get the black-haired one. Nice. I wondered about mine. It was either going to be the black hair or the gray hair. I got to figure that out. If I decide to go that route. Like I say, I got to, I got to be careful about jumping into new lines, you know. I know me. Always having fun here. Yes. That is the way. Tonight, after I'm done, by the way, I've been working on a Bane review video, the MAFEX Bane, and it's about like the stuff is shot, But when I'm done with this, I'm just going to go nuts on like a Bane photo shoot so I can put pictures in that review and then use those pictures for another video. Oh, I can't wait. I haven't been able to just sit down and shoot in a long time, and I can't wait to be able to do that. Oh, Lucas, I ordered this Agent Venom last week, still waiting for it to ship. Oh, man. Dude, I'm excited for you. It looks awesome. Like I say, I know almost nothing about Agent Venom, but that figure looks so good. Do you have a lot more amazing Yamaguchi figures? Because I'm seeing it now and I'm like, man, I wasn't sure before. Now it's looking like a line that you could really get behind for photos. That looks dope. For toy photos, the imagination can go wild with it. All of them, man. That's what I'm saying. It's a tough time. It's both a blessing and a curse to have so many great figures available to us right now. Because eventually we've all got to choose. And that's the pain in the butt, is how do we choose? Nope, AY is too small. See, I feel that way with SHF. But I've seen some of these reviews, and it doesn't look like they're that small. So I'll have to see what some of the other stuff shows. But maybe I better look up some more amazing Yamaguchi reviews to find out. See, I don't have any, but they look cool. Yeah, I'm a fan. Like I say, I haven't taken these for a test drive yet, but there's just something really cool about how well they move. Mr. Manson, so happy with MAFEX Bane. Man, okay, so MAFEX, obviously, you guys know that I like my MAFEX, but Bane exceeded my expectations. So MAFEX understood the assignment in a big way. And if any of you are on the fence about Bane, get off the fence and get Bane. Like, seriously, this is the best Bane that's ever going to be produced when we're talking the Nightfall, at least in the 1/12 scale. He is the best Bane that's ever going to be produced, bar none. Like, I picked this up, I started messing with it, and I'm like, I never have to get another Nightfall Bane. Ever. And that's where MAFEX shines. I have several figures from MAFEX where I'm just like, I never have to get this version of this character ever again. So yeah, I mean, that's my abridged review of Bane, and you'll see the whole thing tomorrow. The abridged review is this: get him if you're thinking about him. I think you'll all be happy. Mr. Matson also finally got caught up on Savage Sword of Conan. Inspired a few photos today. Great book. Man, I haven't gotten into the Conan lore, except, was it last week or was it earlier this week when I was talking about Kull? I actually read up to find out how Kull was related to Conan, and apparently Kull was an Atlantean and Conan was a descendant of Kull. Things I just didn't know. I like learning that kind of stuff, though. That's fun to figure out. Let's see. Get black hair and gray hair. Oh, see, now that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Although, like I say, those are the two I'm thinking of. It would be easiest to just get both. Foray Planet Veteran William is amazing. The giant-sized ones look good, too. Oh, man. I've heard great things about that. I think a lot of people gave Veteran William their figure of the year last year. And Foray Planet, if they came out with a little more frequency, I think they'd probably be on this list for me. For you guys, I wouldn't hold it against anybody if they said, dude, Foray Planet is about as photogenic as it gets. I'd be like, okay, no argument here. They come with a bunch of stuff. There's got to be a lot of toy photo ops with those. Go and pick up the Savage Sword of Conan, 3 issues so far, and history lore about Conan and all Robert E. Howard characters. Huh. So Savage Sword of Conan, who's putting it out, Mr. Matson? Like, who's the publisher? I know Marvel had Conan for a while, but I don't know if they still do. Tragic. I love Robert E. Howard's story of Colin Conan, even Solomon Kane. Man, I didn't know that Solomon Kane was his. See, there's so much I don't know beyond comic books and Star Wars, basically. Oh boy. At this point, whenever I pick up the tea, it's because the screen's not zooming in for me. So, glug glug. Ah, the old chug-a-lug. Or maybe. All right. Oops. Also, Titan Comics Conan has had about 12 issues. Call is in those issues also. They just finished the first year. Titan Comics, huh? Okay, when I say comics, I don't know much about comics beyond Marvel and DC and a little Image. Good Lord. And I had some Dark Horse Star Wars way back. Or maybe it was Flaming Carrots. I can't remember. Because who doesn't want a giant figure like just a dude in a suit with a carrot head? See, Titan Com. Okay, cool. I wondered if they were if it was a split license after I saw the last one. Thank you, Mr. Matson. I appreciate it. Okay. Now we're going to continue on here. I don't think there's tons more to get through when it comes to Yamaguchi. Ryu here. I mean, I think the sculpts are getting way better. I remember way back when they used to look almost blocky, like almost like robot versions of the characters. And I didn't know, even though we've talked about Ryu quite a bit, I didn't even notice that he had the old Wolverine claws. Or maybe I did at some point and just stopped paying attention. But again, all the options that you could possibly need with a figure like this. It's incredible. And yeah, Spidey, the 2.0. I saw one of Anthony's Customs reviews on this guy, and he's pretty blown away by it. He's like, the only thing he wishes they did was just make him in the regular spider suit. And maybe they'll do that. Although MAFEX is supposed to do a Spidey 2.0 if the rumors are to be believed. So we'll see there. But basically, the point here is Amazing Yamaguchi does really articulated stuff, really cool looking stuff. They can have all kinds of parts, and they have all kinds of licenses, it seems. We've got this Superman, whom I've been very curious about since I first saw pictures of him. All kinds of heads, all kinds of hands. I think Amazing Yamaguchi might be in the running, but because of what Harry said, I might look into a few more reviews to see if they are too small for the old collection. Because honestly, that would save me money. And saving me money is good. I like saving money. Let's see. Marvel gave it up when it wasn't selling because they stayed. Oh, now it blows up. Because they stayed so far from the core of Conan. Titan got back to the roots, and they've created a continuity context for all the canon stories. Oh, that's cool. Man. Only Star Wars did something like that. Acolyte. I'm sorry. Was I ripping on the Acolyte again? Strayed. Okay, got it. I probably would have put that together eventually. Okay. So we're now going to get to, oh man, I don't know if I do this first. Screw it. Select all, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. You know I'm crushing it on live streams when I just sit here and narrate when I'm pushing buttons. I'm telling you, that is the ultimate filibuster tool. Totally need to go to the Senate and use that trick. Okay. Present. Harry, 5K Toys has a Metal Gear Solid Snake. Oops. Of course, this was going to pop up while I was reading that. Don't worry, Harry. I'll get back to you. Man, good thing I decided to do this now. All right, you knew it was coming because it's me. All right, let's get to you real quick, Harry, before I go any further. Let's see, has Metal Gear Solid Snake with soft goods? Ooh. Oh, I've never played MGS. Seriously, guys, okay. Here's something that I am thinking of doing since our last live stream. I do think I need to go back and watch a lot of these 80s classics and just put them on Patreon or something, like quick reviews of, say, things like Predator and Alien and RoboCop and Starship Troopers, and then just take suggestions on what my next video needs to be. It's kind of like, so have you guys seen any of the videos for Star Wars when, like, a kid's watching Star Wars and it gets to the part where Vader says to Luke, "I am your father," watching Empire, and the kid's mind is just blown? You would basically, first off, I did that to my niece and her mind was blown, but then her mind was also blown when she found out that Leia was Luke's sister. It was awesome. But you guys would basically just hear my reaction similar ways to those reactions because I've never seen these before. It would be entertaining, at least to me. Because, hey, I want to see this stuff that everybody talks about that I've never seen. All right. Great. Googly moogly. There we go. Okay. Now, you know my thoughts when it comes to MAFEX. I saw Robo talk about Ahsoka here. He said this cloth goods cape is insanely good. So clearly she's on the radar now. And Star Wars figures weren't. Now a bunch of them are. But with them, you get tons of hands. Obviously, she's got a couple lightsabers. She's got the cloak. She's got a couple heads. This is all the makings of something that's a photogenic figure. I'm just a big fan. Like MAFEX, what they've got above what Action Force has are recognizable characters. And again, I just busted out a bunch of stuff here that even if I'm not necessarily interested, I want to make the point that MAFEX makes so many things from so many different kinds of flicks, from so many different just properties. And here, obviously, we had Star Wars with Ahsoka. Now we've got Batman. This is the Zack Snyder version of Batman, whom I'm actually kind of curious about. I want to do this thing. It's been in my head for a long time, but I feel like I don't want to spend the money for the joke. I want to have like the Hush Batman just walking into the room, or the Hush Bruce Wayne or whatever, and put on the Affleck head, put on the Pattinson head, and put on the Bale head on like suit bodies. Like, oh my gosh, you're our inspiration and all that. Like, the real Batman is the Hush Batman, and the movie stars are actually just the pretenders. And then give them these suits and have the Hush Batman just sitting there shaking his head like he's embarrassed for them because they suck so much at being Batman compared to him. Not saying any of them were bad. It would just be like a joke thing I'd have running through, like just the real Batman walking around with the actors. I think it would be hilarious. But that's a decent Affleck head sculpt. It's not great, but what is great, like the yelling head and the one with the gritted teeth, I think those are really good head sculpts. Obviously, you all know I picked this guy up. I think some of you have him as well. I'm a big fan of this Batman. Again, plenty extra stuff, all kinds of photo opportunities. And then you've got Steve from Winter Soldier. I think this figure actually looks really good. And that's not a terrible Chris Evans likeness. Like, probably the best likeness, honestly, is the one with the closed mouth. MAFEX still needs a little bit of work when it comes to the actual actors. On the other hand, I don't really collect these kinds of lines, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to go for something like John Wick. I think that's sweet. Plus, he's got just that body that, like, I could buy a bunch of John Wicks and pop those Bruce Wayne figures, heads on them. Like, Affleck could go on there. Then I've got this Magneto. Like, there's just so much you can do with these from a photography perspective. And I know it just sounds like I'm being a broken record on it. But, dude, even MJ gets a figure. That's so cool. And I know for context, I said MJ and I meant Michael Jordan. I know a lot of us are probably also thinking Mary Jane Watson, but yeah, it's ridiculous what all they do. Drop it. I know that line from RoboCop. That's the only line I know from RoboCop, though. And I thought I'd throw this in there because he's a good looking figure. Starlight from The Boys. I don't know about that face sculpt so much. No, I feel like none of these quite nailed it. But it's a decent representation. But for MAFEX, I generally want more than just a decent representation. I want it to be about perfect. T800. The exciting part here is that they really did kind of nail the Arnold head. Like, look at that. But anyway, you know my thoughts on MAFEX. That's why I kind of zoomed through those, because everybody knows that if everything else had to go, I would keep my MP1 Optimus Prime and I would keep collecting MAFEX. And I think right now, Action Force is really moving on up. Like, Action Force is nearly tied with MAFEX for toy photography for me. Oh, talking about Solid Snake. Solid. But he's less solid when he has cloth goods. I'm just saying. Like, it seems to me things are going to go through those a lot easier than they're going to go through plastic. Oh, jokes. Harry, bummer he sold out. If only I knew stuff. All right, guys, this computer's being kind of slow, so I'm going to try to read your stuff. It's in kind of a sidebar, so if I don't call it up, my apologies. Mr. Matson, what was he called? Harry. He's named Lim Toys 112 Snake Cloth Action Figure. Huh, that should be easy enough to remember. Ghost Have. NECA puts Hasbro to shame. At the same time, they've gotten better with time. They used to have massive QC issues. You know, that's one thing about NECA with The Last Ronin. It feels like they've made action figures now. Like before, because I'm looking over at my Mirage Studios figures, they feel more, I don't know, I guess brittle's the only word I can think of for them. But yeah, my heart is still with those. But The Last Ronin, I think, are objectively better figures, so I'm stuck. But I totally agree. I do think that NECA does a better job. The price point is a little higher, but I'm okay with that for the kind of quality that NECA puts out. So maybe if Hasbro were able to up their quality game, maybe I'd be happier with their stuff. Now, I will say they probably got all kinds of stuff out there that says people don't want to pay more than 25 bucks. So because of what they need for their profit margin and licensing and all that, they might be thinking, we just can't add more. It might be that Hasbro is never able to make figures that I consider to be really photogenic. And that's okay. That's just what their business model is. NECA, almost everything is photogenic. It just needs to move a little better. But again, the Last Ronin figures do. Oops. Here I am pushing buttons on stuff I already read. Oh, boy. It's fine, guys. It's fine. I totally know what I'm doing all the time. Absolutely. Okay, Mr. Matson. I still see him as available, but that's old man Solid Snake with cloth goods, not so solid. Let's see. Play Arts and Rebel Tech are great for photos, but they are hard to handle. Play Arts. That's Play Arts Kai, right? Those are, oh man. Is Play Arts, is that Bandai Namco? Because, yeah, I've seen a lot of those, and they look really good. Let's see. Harry, the one I got the link for is a younger Snake. Let's see. I wish you could post a web address. I don't think I can post a URL even, but I'm not sure. If you guys discover, I've never tried it. So if you guys find a URL, do me a favor. I've been better at checking my IG. So if somebody finds a URL, send it to me on my Instagram, and I will try and get it up on this stream, maybe pin it, and so everybody can see what you're talking about. Maybe that's how I can do it. Let's see here. Ghost have. I heard Jada is purposely selling their toys cheap so people associate their brand with more affordable figures, similar to Walmart's marketing. You know, a lot of companies do that. And as long as it's quality, I guess right now I'm okay with it. If the quality stays the same or if they don't start adding more stuff and suddenly they jack up the price, I would be less okay with it. But right now, they're doing pretty sweet. Now, I don't know if that's the actual, I don't know if that's the case. I've heard that same thing. I can't remember which stream I was listening to, but I didn't look into it to see if there's any truth to it. But again, if there is, I'm okay with it right now. We'll see what happens when they pull a Walmart and decide to jack up the prices. See, that T800 looks awesome. Yeah, he's ridiculously good. Ooh, I think we're kind of catching up here. Sometimes I think, and then I forget. Aja here. Sometimes I think that I should think, and then I think maybe I shouldn't think. There's a whole lot of not thinking going on when it comes to me. Play Arts Kai is Square Enix. Oh, that's right. That's right. They're the Final Fantasy stuff. Why did I not? I just talked about Final Fantasy figures, and I totally forgot. Let's see. Square. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. He looks young, but it looks like he's from a game after 3. He looks way too much like Big Boss and has the robot hand, so older than the version I like. Whoa, solid snake fight. I keyed. All right, so that was MAFEX. And I did want to show you guys here real quick, just because you're here. Get this out of here. Oops. I just hit leave studio accidentally. I'm telling you, I don't know what's happening. But since you are here and the review's not yet up, something about this Bane that I didn't talk about in the review is how solid he is. Like, this is a solid figure. And he's not really, it's tough. I've got the light hitting kind of hard, so it's hard to see him. But he's really good, folks. And there's really great shadow, like kind of, it's sort of a wash going on in the crevices of his skin tones. So he's got a darker skin tone going on. He's got a little bit of hair going on his shoulders and back. Not a lot, but a little tiny bit. The silver, like the finishes on this thing, they came up and decided, okay, we got to make this thing perfect so we can prove to ourselves that we can crush it with big dudes. And I figure this is a time to talk about this since I'm talking about MAFEX. And something else I wanted to show that I do show in the review, but since you're all here, is look at how much bend he gets on that elbow. That's pretty good for a big guy, especially a guy as big as Bane. So truly, if you're on the fence about this dude, get off that fence. And if you can find him, go get him. He sold out at BBTS, but you might be able to find him at some of the import sites. But yeah, I'm really blown away by this guy. I can't wait till everybody gets to see the review. Let's see. Cool. I like the fact they modeled Snake Plissken after him. Here you go. Yeah, no, I like that. I'm torn. Okay. Hold on. Maybe things are catching up. Okay, cool beans. Can we get Caribbean voice Bane, please? Plug? Let's see. I don't know. I did the stupid movie voice in the review, but I didn't do it well. Yeah, I don't think I could. I was trying to think of it. I actually was trying to think of it earlier, like when I was doing the review, and I kind of sucked at it. I should have looked up Batman the Animated Series clips, because I know he sounded better there. Okay, things are actually being called up. Harry and those soft goods look better than average for Mezco. Mezco's getting better at their soft goods, I have to say. And on the other hand, a lot of companies, a lot of the third-party stuff is just crushing it on the soft goods. So it's got to be they're able to get that material cheaper, or they just know how, and Mezco hasn't quite gotten there yet. I don't know, but a lot of that stuff's really cool. All right, so the last one that is up for consideration for being really cool when it comes to toy photography. Hang on, I'm trying to call it up right now, right here, right now. Speaking of, and I don't have any of these either. And I think I do need to take one for a test drive, but I don't necessarily think I need to do that with any licensed properties because they've got enough stuff that's kind of their own stuff that maybe it just doesn't need to happen. And I'm sitting here stalling while I'm waiting for the window and everything to pop up. But that is Mezco. Hang on, what do we have? Oh, Harry sent a photo. Hang on. Let's see if the link is there. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay, hang on, guys. Hang on. We're going to, you know what? I'm going to keep this on my phone, Harry, and I will show it when I'm done chatting about all this stuff. But Mezco is another one. Now, I have said in the past that between MAFEX and Mezco, if somebody came to me and said, Mezco, Dave, is in fact the best line for figure photography, you would not get an argument out of me. I think these things look incredible. My problem with Mezco has been the fact that some of the materials tend to get a little rough after a while, after a few years. Like it sounds like the '89 Batman is already disintegrating for some people. And that thing just came out, it feels like. So some of the materials they use, I'm just a little sketchy on. But I will admit, their earlier stuff, I thought all looked like they were wearing pajamas. Now they look like they're getting a lot better. And this Destro is an example. And of course, their articulation's pretty good, but with cloth goods, you're never going to get the same level of articulation as you can with a Mezco, or I'm sorry, with a MAFEX. But a figure like Destro maybe doesn't need that much articulation. Maybe the articulation he's got is perfect, because I've heard a lot of people say how great this figure is. And of course, you gotta love that he comes with all the things. There's another figure with all kinds of toy photography potential. And then Doom, whom I've been really tempted by, to be honest. But there's something about him that I just don't feel right about, and I don't know what it is. It's like his proportions are weird or something. So if anybody has Doom that's in the chat, let me know what you think of him, because he's the one that I've been really most curious about with Mezco. Like, I love all the stuff he comes with. I love all the hands, obviously. All this, I mean, it's ridiculous, all the stuff he comes with. Of course, he's got the ridiculous price tag to go with it. And I don't know what it is, because I know he's not that well articulated, and that might be part of it. But there's also this feeling in the back of my head that's just, MAFEX is doing a Daredevil, who knows who they're going to do next. And while right now this is easily the ultimate Dr. Doom on the market, maybe MAFEX is going to come out with one. So I don't know, but Mezco, I mean, just all the parts. Forget Doom. Look at all the hands. Then look at all the guns, the blast effects, the launching, like for the backpack and everything, the magic effect. Then you got, I can't remember what the thing's called that he holds on to, but you've got all those back pieces. You've got that takeoff effect. Then I've got the Fantastic Four here, because Mezco did the very best Reed Richards and Thing that I've ever seen. And they also did really good Turtles, but I don't have pictures of those. But like, I don't think it gets much better than that for Reed. And then Sue is good. The problem with Sue is she's only got single jointed arms. And that's one thing with Mezco. I never know exactly what you're going to get with these figures. And I wish they were a little more clear about that, like which bodies were being used, all that stuff. But yeah, this Thing is awesome. And he's about the same height as everybody else, which is what he should be. And then there's the Shot. Mr. J. Again, we're just kind of going through these. I'm sort of making my case as to why I think these are some of the most photogenic figures out there. And I don't know why, but I didn't even like my only exposure to the mask has been the Jim Carrey movie, and yet there's something about this figure that just cracks me up. So I had to throw him in here. But again, there's no arguing all the stuff that you can use to make these great photogenic figures. Now, obviously, almost everything I talked about here is a lot pricier than your average figure, your kind of your Marvel Legend or your classified figure. But the Action Force stuff, it's really only 30 bucks at this point, so it's not bad. The Monster Force stuff is going to be 37, but it comes with a ton of stuff. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to say as far as all that's concerned, but I'm just loving the options. And I think for me, having not been able to test drive a Monster Force yet, having not yet test driven a Mezco or an amazing Yamaguchi, though when I was talking about Mezco, I feel like I need a Gomez. So I do think I'll end up with a Gomez in my future. I just need to decide which one, just to test it out, just to see what I really think. My problem, of course, as you all know, I'll get a Gomez and be like, oh, geez, I should probably get a few more of these. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, right now, I would say for me, Action Force and MAFEX are pretty close to a dead heat. I still give MAFEX the edge just because I love the characters that they create. But there's so much you can do with Action Force that I think right now for me, those are the two most photogenic lines. But again, that's just me. How about you guys? What are you thinking? What are your criteria? And I'm going to close this out. And I want to show you here. This is what Harry sent. Now that, okay, here we go. See if we can get a good view. There's Solid Snake. Although we have a little bit of a Snake Plissken thing going on there. By the way, never seen Escape from New York or Escape from LA either. So those might be on the list. But anyway, yeah, that is sweet. And that's probably about the best I've ever been able to make it look on my phone for one of these live streams. So, all right, let me get back to the chat, see what everybody's talking about. If the computer will let me, I'll take another swig. Woo! Well, man, I got started talking about Mezco and the chat popped off. Watch, it'll all be about Snake, which is totally fine. If you don't mind to pay shipping from Canada, ages 3 and up has Bane for pre-order. There you go, guys. There you go. And shipping from Canada, probably, I mean, at this point, if you want Bane, you got to just get him wherever you can find him. I was lucky. I was probably one of the last people that found him at Hobby Genki. And possibly Hobby Genki still has him. I just haven't looked. Oh man, I might have to start reading them off on the side again. We'll try this last one. From the good Mr. McDysentery. Finally got around to my first Legends pre-order, the Silver Surfer reissue to go with my clearance Fantastic Four figures. You know, I had the Silver Surfer, the Walgreens one, and I thought that was a really cool figure because the shine was perfect. So if the reissue is like him, he's going to be good. You're going to like him, I think, especially for taking pictures. Just because when you have a figure with that kind of shine, if you hit him with really hard light, you get a lot of just pow, like just insane white light. You get a lot of crazy darks. Like a figure like that could actually look like he kind of does in the comics if you hit him with hard light. So congrats. That's a cool one. All right. Now I think what I'm going to do is start reading them off on the sides. Or on the side. Let's see. Mezcos are nice, but soft goods only look good. Let's see. To me, when they're loose. Most Mezcos look like pajama guys to me. A lot of them do. A lot of them do. Like, I don't like Dr. Octopus except with a lab coat. I don't like Spider-Man. I don't like a lot of the early ones. And I don't think I love Wolverine, but the Wolverine that came with all the stuff, he looks like he's wearing pajamas to me as well. So, let's try one more here and see if this pops up for me. Tragic. I love my G.I. Joe Mezco. Hands down, they've been awesome. You have to make sure they are in temperature control environment. People put them in bins and kept in extreme heat and cold. Is that the secret? Like, if that's the secret, I wouldn't feel so bad because I tend to keep my place right around 70, 72 degrees, and I keep my stuff in drawers, but they're in dark and again, 70, 72 degrees. If that's the secret to keeping Mezcos okay, then maybe I wouldn't be so hard about the fact that I'm worried about them breaking or just cracking, like some of the pleather material they use. I need that Mezco Doom, but I understand your issue with proportions. That's Mezco-fied. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's proportions. I feel like it's a little articulation. I don't know. Mezco Iron Fist is awesome, says the good Mr. Matson. I've heard that. I've heard that. He's got that pajama look, but it almost works for him. Let's see. Harry Doom's arms. Let's see. Oh, armor is die cast. Huh. I knew he had die-cast parts. I didn't know it was all the armor. That's pretty cool. As in, like, the legs and arms. Let's see. Doom is freaking awesome. Only thing he can't do is cross his arms. But he can move well, and he feels heavy. There's some die-cast metal. The accessories are amazing that come with him. Oh, crap, Tragic. Why you gotta make me think maybe I was right in thinking I should get Doom? Ah, he does look good, though. Breaking news, EE posted 2 new Last Ronin figures. Ghost Tav. Awesome. Are they? So I saw stuff pop up just before the live stream. One was the Last Ronin basically naked with just bandages all over him, like a beat up Last Ronin figure. And then the other one was a Fugitoid with a lot of miscellaneous accessories. Are those the 2 that just went up? Let's see if we can make this happen again. It's kind of happening. Let's see. Females, let's see, have single joints on the arms. I hear the new line of females are going to be double jointed. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's really like, I mean, besides the $420, one of the main things that kept me away from the Fantastic Four set was when reviews came out and it sounded like Sue was single jointed. I'm like, whew, I feel okay by not going for that. And yet, maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Ghost Tab, raw turtle and accessory set. Okay. That must be what I was thinking or what I saw earlier. Tragic. I'm still waiting on my Doom. Let's see. On my damn Mezco Conan. Which Conan did you get? Was it King Conan? All right, let's see if I can make these things work now. Stinking computer being so slow. Best Buy just posted the pre-order for Murder, She Wrote and Vincent Price NECA figures. Oh, okay. Murder, She Wrote, you guys are welcome to her. Vincent Price. That thing's so good. Oh, man. That's the problem. I could see me just going nuts on NECA stuff. NECA is just one of those companies where the action figures are Last Ronin, but everything else, it's not quite as figure-fied, but it's really good. Tragic. I've been very pleased with my Mezco figures for photos. Man, geez. See, you should have gotten that Destro. He was on sale for $50 just last week. Amazon had 6 or so for 40. Oh my God. See, bad nerd. Yep. You know what? Maybe I need a bad nerd t-shirt. Just put Toypixx underneath it. I do. I need to make t-shirt designs. I think I could have some fun with what you guys have come up with on the live stream. Let's see. I would get that solid snake for the head sculpt for a Snake Plissken fig. I think that'd be perfect. That's a great Kurt Russell head sculpt. Yeah, might have to read on the side again. I hate when that happens. Let's see, Hobby Genki Bane is sold out. Ah, that sucks. Pliskin, let's see, Spaded One. Yeah, but like, what Snake look like with his shirt off? I got nothing. Mr. Matson, the pleather's still required maintenance. There is stuff you put on it to keep it healthy. Is it like, obviously it's not Armor All because that tends to split it. Is it just regular like leather protector? Spaded One. I want to see Mezco do someone like the Surfer. See, a literal naked dude with no soft goods at all. Mezco would not know what to do. They'd be like, what, we have to, I'm so confused. What do we do now? They give him like a fedora or something. They'd have to give him something, or maybe give the board like a protector to go over it or something. It would be cool to see what they do with the Silver Surfer, though. Harry, the great thing about Mezco is if your suit does go bad, there's always some third-party suits. That's fair. King Conan from Tragic. I got the Super 7 thrown for it. Oh, I bet that's going to look cool. Tragic. For the most part, you can get Destro between 50 and 60 bucks. Let's see. Amazon, eBay, or a trusted Facebook seller. Awesome, Mr. Matson. I have the first 2 releases of Conan, skipped King, but still, I'd like to have him. Everybody says those Conan figures are so good. Ghost Tab, Bad Nerd t-shirt would have a quote. I never cared for Captain Kirk in Star Wars. It would need to be something like that. I have a friend that knows all that. Like, he knows Star Trek hardcore, and then obviously Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. And I've seen enough stuff where they put those 2 things together. So I send those things to him because it actually does irritate him, which of course makes me chuckle. Let's see. Tragic. Mr. Madsen, correct. You do need to treat the pleather. I'm just curious. So, I mean, I'm sure I could figure out what it is that you use. But anyway, yeah, guys. I mean, at the end of all this examination, trying to figure it out, I think Jada could catch up and be a really good, like a photogenic figure line. I think G.I. Joe could if they started doing hand packs, maybe head packs, but hand packs for sure. And that would make me happy. Mezco NECA, man, if they start using the ball jointed peg, like the ball peg at the waist, it's going to be tough to beat them. It does look like they're doing a Karai Shredder, who looks like she might have a ball joint there. And if she does, wow, that's going to be perfect. And that would be for their Mirage line. I'm pretty excited about that. As far as what we've got going on here, I think Monster Force is going to be right up there with Action Force as far as photogenic figures are concerned. And I don't know. I mean, what else was there? I think that's pretty much it for me, for what I've got. Oh, an amazing Yamaguchi. Like you said, Harry, about them being sized like they are, I will go and check out a few more reviews to see what I think. But yeah, I mean, right now for my cash, it's all about MAFEX and Action Force are probably the 2 most photogenic lines. But for you guys, your mileage may vary. Let me know what you're thinking. And if you have it in the chat, let me know in the comments. And like the video, man. I'm terrible about asking people to like the video. But hey, like the video if you're having a good time. Let me see where we're at here. Spaded One. The Mezco Conans look amazing. That square head always makes me giggle. Harry, Alibaba has King Conan for $114. Would you trust it? You know, I've never ordered, I take that back. I might have ordered something from Alibaba, but it would have been way back when. I generally, when their prices are higher like that, you are getting an authentic version. I will say that from what I understand of Alibaba, they do have like a system where if you're caught trying to hose customers way too much, then you are going to get in trouble. So if it says authentic somewhere in the listing, I might gamble, but it's just like anything else. Check out the reviews, see what you think. But yeah, I mean, I've looked at Alibaba trying to figure out what all I could get from there. I think there are deals to be had if you find the stuff that you really dig. Let's see. Oops, AliExpress. Oh, AliExpress. Have I tried AliExpress? Maybe it's AliExpress. I don't know. One of the Olis I've done. I'm sure they all have those systems. Otherwise, they couldn't function. So make sure and look up reviews of whoever you're looking at possibly ordering from. Hopefully, they've got enough stuff. And if it says original product, like if it says Mezco and it says original Mezco, it has to be original Mezco, because if they get caught busting people, whatever site is going to bust them. So definitely look that stuff up. Let's see. Nope, not KO Express. Never trust them. Let's see. I almost hit the like icon on your videos. Just JK. Or I always hit the like icon on your videos. Don't, JK, why? Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, man, guys. All right. I think we've gotten this. I think we've done all the chatting we got for all this stuff. But yeah, for sure. Let me know. I think I'm about there. I think that's where I'm at with the most photogenic stuff. And I can see Monster Force coming in and being a big part of it. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the old collection. I'm really stoked about what all's out there right now. And frankly, I can't wait to spend money. And that's a sickness that I think we all deal with. And with that, that's what I've got for tonight. So thanks as always, everybody, for stopping by to hang out. It's always massively appreciated. And remember, let me know what your most photogenic toy lines are in the comments. And until next time, have fun and happy snapping. Let's see. Sure. See, that's what I mean by I do a terrible Bane. Maybe we'll try this again. See ya. Oh, I'm your reckoning.